What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Shanti Das, the host of the Silence to Shame podcast. And as always, I'm so excited to be here. Been doing this podcast since 2017, but Silence to Shame actually launched in 2016. So guess what? We're about to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And so we're just so grateful to be able to do this work as a mental health nonprofit, educating our community around mental health and wellness. And this particular season, I'm really excited about and proud of the guests that we've had thus far, because we're taking a look at first responders. Our first responders are always the ones that are out there on the front lines. And, you know, we look to them around emergencies, and we don't think that they actually go through challenges, right? They're just like supermen, superwomen, and that they're always going to be okay, and they're human. And so we want to just show a little bit of compassion and empathy for our police officers, our firefighters, our EMT workers, our 911 operators, and all the people that actually keep us safe when, you know, either tragedy strikes or we have different things going on that requires their immediate attention. And so we're just grateful for the work that they do. And I'm so excited about our guest today. And I have to shout out our first guest of this season, Dr. Carla Moore, who connected me with this gentleman. And you've had such an amazing career. Let's give a warm Silence to Shame welcome to Major Fred Watson.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for being here. And
glad to be here.
You know, we've been discussing, like I mentioned, mental wellness and first responders on this season's podcast. And today I like to focus on police officers and the work that you all do. And I know you started your work as a police officer in 2001 after graduating from the police academy. And as we know, police officers make high-stake decisions every minute. I was going to say every day, but really it's like every second of the day. And sometimes in dangerous situations. And so I can only imagine, you know, a lot of the feedback is both positive and negative, you know, that you get sometimes from our police officers. So my first question to you would be, how can that constant pressure affect an officer's mental and emotional health over the course of one's career?
Well, first, I would like to say I've been doing this for 25 years in
Wow.
law enforcement. So now I'm in a leadership role within the City of Atlanta Police Department. But a long time ago in 2001, I was an officer on the street. So, you know, typically a regular citizen might experience 2 or 3 instances of a catastrophic situation in their lifetime. We can experience that 2 or 3 every day. And just imagine 2 or 3 incidents, go to a call, somebody could be shot. You could find somebody, it could be a suicide, it could be a homicide. And you go to work and you see that 5 days a week over the course of a year.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So taking into account, you know, a 30-year career for a police officer, you could have, I think they just had some research from 2023 saying that there's about 800 incidents that an officer may experience over a 20-year career. And that's low, and that depends on the agency that you are assigned to. If you're in a smaller jurisdiction, it could be smaller. And if you're a larger agency, it could be much bigger. So for me, you know, coming into this profession, I have a little bias because I come from a family of law enforcement professionals.
Okay.
So I used to be a football player, so I would say kind of like I had a red shirt year. I kind of saw from the sidelines what my family went through over the years. Going to work at 7 in the morning, coming home at 7 p.m. And how it takes a toll, not on just your physical and your emotional, but spiritual too. So it's a calling. It's something that I always wanted to do, and I felt that if I didn't do it, I would always have that in the back of my mind that I had that opportunity. I never did it. So.
First off, thank you for your service and your work and your service. I want to go back to something you said. You said an officer might experience 800. What was it? 800.
So there was a study
incidents?
saying 800 incidents. I think it was in police1.com. They were talking about 800 incidents over a 20-year career.
So, okay. So let's just look at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about, say, if you are out in your neighborhood and you come across, God forbid, a dead body, or you see a tragic accident or something happen. That sits with you for a very long time. And I've seen people who have had to go to counseling and therapy over that. And you look at the 20-year span on an individual's overall emotional health and wellness. So not only is the event traumatic for you, there's a level of connection with that family member or those family members. And so
Yes.
now you not only have your own trauma to deal with, you taking on somebody else's trauma.
You are.
That's a lot. How did you handle it even when you were, out there
So for me,
patrolling?
it's having a good support base outside of law enforcement. Having hobbies, things to do.
Which leads to healthy ways to cope?
Yes. And just talking. Naturally, I'm an introvert,
Are you?
but I find myself when I see other people going through stuff, just talking to them and kind of sharing the experiences that I've been through. And I've been through a lot.
Okay.
I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. I came into this career straight out of college, out of Morris Brown College. And in 2005, I lost my partner who was shot and killed right in front of me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My other partner was shot, and he died in 2005. So it's been going on, you're talking about 21 years that I lost my partner, Mark Anthony Cross, in the line of duty when I was assigned to the Red Dog Unit.
Very sorry.
Since that time, there has not been any officer killed in the line of duty by gunfire in the Atlanta Police Department.
Wow.
And that's a testament to the training and the advocacy as it relates to, mental health within the police department.
Absolutely.
So I've seen a lot.
Did you go to counseling or grief counseling when that happened?
Yes.
Afterwards?
So when that happened, they took us offline for a week. If I'm not mistaken, the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosive sent a team down here from their chaplaincy to come talk to us as a collective group.
Okay.
We went through they didn't have the officer wellness like we have right now, the public safety, behavioral health wellness that Dr. Moore leads right now. We didn't have that at the time, but we had the Bureau of Employee Services. And we went there and I talked to a psychiatrist and my partner who was shot as well. So,
Did you find it helpful?
I did. The good thing,
and I know things don't happen overnight.
I can't even remember how old I was at the time, but you're young in your career and something like this happened, and that wasn't my intention to wake up and to be involved in an also involved shooting. Furthermore, see my partner get shot and see my other one shot, and then the biggest thing I could take away from it, I saw my life flash in front of me. The whole experience from the time it happened and the time he was buried. That could have been me. That could have been my partner. I was just going to
ask you, did you ever experience like, thoughts of like, why not me? And why did it happen to them? And why did God spare me?
I did. The good thing is that when everything happened, I just remember after it happened, and back then we were using a Nextel chirp. Everybody would chirp off the Nextel.
Right.
And I hit my father, who was up in Massachusetts. He was the commissioner of police for Cambridge, Massachusetts Police Department. Okay. And I said, hey, Dad, nothing happened. I said, hey, Dad. And he was like, hey, what's going on? I said, Dad, I've been in an officer-involved shooting. I'm okay. Two of my partners been shot. One might not make it. I just want to let you know I'm about to go back. Homicide, I have to make a statement, but everything is good. And just that dead silence, like it was like maybe like a couple minutes that he came back over, and he said okay. And then a couple days later, he came down to make sure I was okay. My father happened to be in an officer-involved shooting in Chicago in 1984, if I'm not mistaken. And I think talking to him, talking to my brother and some other people, I was able to cope because I had a support system internally within my family. A lot of officers don't have that. But you do feel, alone. I went home and you do a lot of thinking, what's going to happen, because this is the first time, they train you for a lot, but when you're actually involved in a situation. There's a lot of unknowns. But the good thing is I pulled through, my partner pulled through. I had a deeper connection with the Cross family, even to this day. One of his kids, his wife was Thai. His kids went back to Thailand afterwards.
Oh, wow.
One is back here attending college, and one's still in Thailand. So, they lost a son, but they gained another one through me. So, but the good thing is to make sure that people remember that he was a servant for the city, and that his sacrifice is always going to be remembered.
Absolutely. I'm glad you were able to honor him in that way and to be there for his family like that. And the unfortunate tragedy, brought you all closer. So I'm sure you've been a shining light in their life as well. I want to ask you, Major Watson, and thank you for sharing that personal story. As a leader, how do you personally look for signs that an officer may be struggling, especially in a culture where y'all are taught to push through rather than speak up? Also, sometimes, police officers catch a bad rap just because of whether it's social media or angry people. And, nobody's perfect, but y'all are out there like risking your lives for our lives every single day. And I'm sure that some of the officers, they struggle with their mental health on a daily basis. But, what signs, do you look out for?
The first thing, I know it might sound cliche, but you have to get out of the office, and a lot of people have this open door policy. Some people will come, but most won't. So you have to get out and you have to meet the people halfway, know. So you have to, like Kenny Loggins, the song, you have to meet them halfway. You have to go out, you have to lay eyes on them. You have to have these conversations, look at their appearance, are they sicking out? Are they not coming to work? But the biggest thing is just letting them know that you're human and that you're experiencing some of the things that they may be experiencing, and just having conversations other than the normal day-to-day routine with the police department, asking about their family, asking about their kids, or what are they doing for the weekend, or what plans do they have for vacations and stuff like that. So you have to kind of show that you care to your people for them to open up and kind to accept you as a genuine person. So that's kind of what I do. I'm talking about,
So, like, will you go kind of sometimes and see them at their precincts, or just go out in the field and catch them when they're on duty?
Yeah, I'm talking, it varies. I'm talking about you got people that's under your command.
Okay.
I'm talking about it could be people, I'm going to get gas. I'm talking about I could be in a restaurant. I could be going to a place where officers working on duty or off duty and just having a conversation. And it could be just a short conversation, but, you can kind of tell, like the eyes is kind of like the gateway to the soul. And you can kind of look at people and you can kind of, if something's going on and, you can pull them aside and have a conversation. But the biggest thing, like I said, you have to come to them. And they have to know that you're authentic and that you actually care and that you actually are going to do something. So people can talk all day. Actions speak louder than words.
No doubt. Yes, that is so true. And I like the fact that you're getting out there touching them, right? Like you said, because mental health is hard enough. Even, I don't know how much you know about Silence to Shame, but the reason I started this is my father died by suicide when I was a child. Lost my best friend, thank you, in 2014. And then I had serious suicidal ideation myself. And I had a really big career in music and, just went through a lot of different things. And grateful that I got the help that I need and I started this organization. But it was people that really started coming up talking to me once I kind of started opening up a little bit. And that gave me permission, thinking, okay, it actually is okay to share and talk. And so I had those people who were there for me. So I'm glad that you've been able to be there for your officers. I want to talk a little bit about now some of the support and programs that have been put into place. We talked obviously a lot about this when Dr. Moore was here. And how do you help officers kind of decompress from the everyday stress of policing, and not just the major traumatic events, just in general?
So I know I mentioned the Public Safety Behavior Wellness Unit with Dr. Carla Moore. That is a new endeavor by the City of Atlanta.
Okay.
It is isolated to public safety. So you have, my chief, Darren Shearbaum, Chief Rod Smith with fire, and you have Chief Elder Dancy with corrections. It is throughout the entire public safety entity. It's kind of like, you have discipline, you have leadership, and you have training that goes through all of your agencies.
Okay.
This is a new thing that they're doing, and it's been great because it wasn't there, like in my situation.
Okay.
So now officers have to do a yearly annual wellness visit where they sit down, they talk to a clinician and talk about, some of the things they may be going through. And it's kind of a one-on-one, 20 minutes, but it's great. And it gives you an opportunity to really kind of talk about some of the things that are affecting you kind of in a safe space.
Now, what if they want to do that more than once?
They can.
Okay.
They can do it more than once.
Okay, great.
And if you want to do it with your own private physician, you can do that as well.
Okay.
So that component within the police department has been great. We have the peer support team, so we have officers
good.
that are like us,
Yeah.
that go through tragic situations, and they can actually come back and talk to other officers or civilians, professional staff, related to things they may be going through. And it's not all from public safety because, I came on at 22 years old. Never did I think, that was 2000. 2009, my grandmother had vascular dementia. I had to bring her from Chicago to me. I had to take her to her nursing home. I had to clip her toenails. I had to do her hair. She was low income subsidy, $1,000 from Social Security, $950 went to an institution. I had to work extra jobs to keep her life insurance and everything going. So it's a lot of stress that people go through. And at that rank, I was a lieutenant. So people don't know what you're going through because sometimes you don't want everybody in your business.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is everybody knowing that you're human. And some of these officers are going through the same thing. I'm talking, it don't matter if you're the chief. It don't matter if you're a recruit. We're all going through this because we're all human. But getting back to what I was saying, it didn't prepare you for knowing that you're going to have to take care of your loved ones when they get older. And that's something that you think about being a police officer, you're training, you're running, you got signals and codes and, what you're going to do, serve and protect and all that stuff. But you're not thinking about the other stuff after the shift that you have to take care of. Absent not having it. At 22, I didn't have a son. I didn't have a daughter. I didn't have a wife. But, fast forward, here I am with somebody in their 80s that can remember everything from 1945, but can't remember a conversation from 5 minutes ago.
My mother had Alzheimer's.
And it's rough.
Yeah.
And people don't understand what you're going through. And so, seeing those signs and hearing other people talk about it, I think you can bring some type of educational component because you've been through that. You kind of, walk that lonesome road and then you can share that information with them.
I love that because that's something that's important in the mental health space is peer support groups.
Yep.
And you hear a lot about that with different foundations, nonprofits, organizations that work particularly in mental health and around mental health and substance abuse. And peer support, to your point, is crucial and critical because a lot of times that's the way to erase stigma is through those peer support groups and storytelling and having people say, hey, this happened to me.
Right.
Or, bro or sis, I've been there, and this is how I got through it. And so sometimes it's that little opening of the door, right, can be an opportunity for somebody to say, you know what, I think I need to at least open up and share, find support, and get the help that's needed. I think that's great that y'all have those.
And also, they may know that officer or that civilian, they may not know the clinician or the psychiatrist they're talking to. So there's like a level of trust already there.
Yeah.
So that kind of bridges the gap when, open dialogue with the communication.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about something called cumulative trauma. And it's something that a lot of us, and particularly a lot of people outside of law enforcement, don't fully understand. And so how do repeated exposures to violence, loss, and conflict show up in officers' lives over time? Like, have you seen people that may not even speak on it, but they're experiencing it?
I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
So, like I said, I've been 25 years on the police department. 5 years in my career, I lost my partner, which I already discussed. I have 5 years left. And in 2024, my brother, who was a 28-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department, committed suicide.
Oh, my goodness.
So it shocked me.
How many years had he?
28 years with Chicago Police Department. He was retired, if not mistaken, 4 years. Didn't see any signs. He was the life of the party, dressed well, always, depart. And, just like everybody, sometimes people suffer.
I'm so sorry.
And you don't see those signs. And, not a day goes by because him, my uncle, my father was the reason I went into law enforcement. And he was an officer. He was a patrol officer with Chicago Police Department. But he was much more than that. And he was my bigger brother. But the biggest thing is he was wise beyond his years. And a lot of times I could go to him with information, and he could always. He was the type of person that he either, if he didn't do it, he knew somebody that did, or he could figure it out. And it hurt me to the core. So, that's not including all the years you're working on the street or the exposures you see through the citizens that you serve. Like I told you, those different calls that you go through. So, it's been rough. The last his number's still on my phone. His birthday's gonna be coming around again, and his son found him, and it's a very tragic situation. So with that.
So did you experience any things that didn't seem normal to you in terms of how you think that showed up? All those experiences with trauma.
I just think
anything out of character.
I don't think it was anything out of character. I think.
Or have you seen that in others?
Well, since 2019, I've known directly or indirectly 7 people who have committed suicide. And in 2019, it started with my line brother in my fraternity. He committed suicide. From there, I developed a relationship with his wife because of their daughter, and we would talk periodically. And then all of a sudden, that stopped. I tried to call her. She wouldn't answer. I tried to call where she worked. They said she didn't work there anymore. I Googled her name and found out here's an obituary with her name on it.
No way.
She passed away.
No.
Didn't even know. So, and, just since then, like I said, it's been 7 people. So, it's a thing, and being out here talking about it, the advocacy behind it is huge because a lot of people are afraid. If they don't see us speaking about it, they're not going to talk about it. But I think seeing us and us being vulnerable, talking about situations like this can open those doors for other people.
Absolutely. I can't thank you again just for being on here today. I think this season of the Silence to Shame podcast should hopefully help many families and law enforcement officers, because we know y'all go through a lot. And I'm very sorry again about your brother. I know how that can affect the family. I was 7 months old. My dad died by suicide. My brother was almost 6, and my sister was like 8.5. And it happened in their room. And so even though I never met my dad, just growing up, all the questions and my mom having to raise 3 kids, it was a lot on us. And one of the things that prompted me to get help, because I was like, I don't want to do this to my family again, you know? And that was one of the things that led me to get the support. So very important storytelling, as hard as it can sometimes be. You got to open up and share. In your experience, Major Watson, what helps officers build resilience without numbing themselves emotionally or burning out? In addition to talking to people and being there and opening up and sharing, is it anything else that you've seen that's proven to help either yourself or others that you've seen just to build that resilience and mental health?
There's a few books on the market, and I'm not trying to advocate different people. I know Scott Medlin has a book. I know Kevin Gilmartin has a book, Emotional Survivor for Law Enforcement. Is doing the research and talking to people. I'm talking about, we go through so much. You don't know how much talent that's in the police department, because most people see just the uniform. Right? But we have so many talents beyond that, and we have so many experiences that we share. I did a kind of like a podcast a few months ago, and I know we're talking about suicide. I know we're talking about, death and things like that. I grew up 6 years old. My mom died, breast cancer. So my whole entire life I've been exposed to that, and it's rough. I think my father's mother died when she was 3. My mother died when I was 6. So I have a son right now that's 19, and I always, in the back of my mind, said, is she gonna die early? You know, because sometimes things goes in threes. They come in threes. So I think for the most part, is getting out there for me. I can only speak for me. What has helped me is my family, and having activities to keep your mind kind of numb. You know, a lot of people, you work in this profession, you watch police officer movies and police officer shows. For me, I try to do other things, and I try to.
Yeah, you need an escape, right?
Like me, I collect baseball cards, collect comic books.
Okay.
I'm a toy collector.
I love it.
So I try to collect the vintage '80 toys and different things
Nice.
like that. So I keep things going to keep my mind going, so that it puts a smile on my face. So
Yeah.
just like recently in my office, I kind of put things in my office that reminded me of my childhood, reminded me of things that made me happy. So when I walk in, I'm in a safe place and I'm happy.
Yes. I tell
So-
people all the time,
yeah.
find that inner child.
Yeah. So you got to do stuff that kind of puts a smile on your face.
Yes.
You know, the life of a police officer is rough. You know, I think they had a study. I think it was out of on the East Coast that the life expectancy of a police officer after they retire is not very high.
Really?
No, I'm talking about this particular study was dealing with white males in a Eastern Police Department.
Okay.
And this was about a few years back, but I think they gave them like about 11 years. And a lot of the stress you take on. I'm talking about the health, your eating habits, things that just all to come. A lot of officers I know, they go through divorce. They go through a lot of stuff. So it's not just what you do in this uniform that the public sees. It's the things that happen behind closed doors. There's a lot, but the similar experiences. Just like, we just had the conversation about your family and my family. I would have never known that. You would have never known
That's
that, but we
right.
all go through the same stuff.
That's
So
right.
That's
That's
that.
right. Okay. If you could change one thing about how mental health is handled in policing today, what would it be and why? And maybe you don't, it might be okay, but is it anything that you think, we need to change or do differently?
I think being more vulnerable, having the conversations, showing people that you have the same experiences as them. It
Do
just
y'all ever have people come in and share and tell their stories?
we do. We do have chaplaincy. We do have peer support. They have times where people can come up and share stories and talk about different things, and it's kind of on a voluntary basis. But I think letting people know that you're authentic, that you care, and that you're vulnerable enough to tell your story. I think if an officer tells, that's one thing. But when your leaders tell, and I'm talking about my chief's a firm believer of wellness within the police department, and it's advocated like throughout the entire department.
That's
I'm talking
great.
about it's at headquarters. They have a spot at the training academy. Every Thursday we have our CompStat meeting, which is our daily crime discussion. And one of the first things is wellness. And Dr. Moore comes in and she addresses the leadership and talks about wellness and the different months and that's coming up and what we can do better, not just from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint. It's all encompassed, and then it's exercises and questions, and it's interactive. So it's not just somebody lecturing, but it might be 10 minutes, but it's good to promote that within the police department. And I think just the advocacy and being vulnerable and continuing that, you're going to reach a larger audience than just being quiet and acting like it doesn't happen, because it does.
That's right. Well, Major Watson, this has been such an honor and a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
I mean, my cousin, Victor Lawson, used to be a Red Dog, and I know he was before you. And I used to, we would worry about him when he was on the job. And back then, I didn't know a lot about mental health, like I do now. But knowing what I know now, I can only imagine what it's like for family members and seeing their loved ones go out and be proud of the work that they do, but also be scared. I guess my last question would be, what advice do you have for family members of police officers, what can they do to support the mental wellness of their loved ones and their own when they're worried about them on the job?
Stay engaged. For the ones that are here, stay engaged. The ones that have passed by, whether it was natural causes or in the line of duty, we find a lot of them that come back, that tell their story, to keep their memory of their family member alive. So I think staying in connection with the police department and being able to touch the younger generation of police officers when they are matriculating through the academy, to understand that this job, you're promised to get a paycheck, but there's not a promise that you're going to make 30 years.
Yeah.
And something can happen in the line of duty or something naturally can happen. So I think the connection and knowing that they're always a part of this organization, because, these families are the ones that got to sacrifice or allow us to borrow them for that 8 hours on the job.
That's right.
So I think staying connected, understanding, but doing the research, reading different books, looking at the studies that's out there on police officer suicides, police officer wellness, and it could be more educational for them. I know one of the things that kind of like my pet peeve, and it's in the book by Kevin Gilmartin, is that we always have to make decisions. We have to make decisions every day. There's so many people coming with questions.
Sometimes so quick, right?
Right. And then you get off and you get home, and the first thing is, what do you want to eat? You're like, oh man, I gotta make a decision. Like,
can the meal just be ready?
Can it be ready? I don't care. It could be Tom and Jerry peanut butter and jelly. I don't care.
I hear that.
But it's there's a lot of resources out there that can help families. But I say stay engaged and be involved and support your loved one throughout the whole process.
I love that you have such a positive, mindset and that there's a funny side to you. How do you infuse humor kind of into your daily regimen, and how do you find that being able to help your overall mental health and wellness when you were, in the field, but even now as a leader and taking it to other police officers? Because you got to laugh, right? Yeah,
you got to laugh. I think joking is, naturally I'm a jokester, and I love that. I've got that from high school. People kind of say I'm Bill Bellamy during the 8-hour shift. I'm kind of like Dave Chappelle after 5, and after midnight I'm Richard Pryor. So,
wow, that's quite the range.
So, but at work it's really about making people laugh, making people feel happy, and kind of breaking the ice. It's one thing I learned in my career. You kind of know your boss. You have to know who you're working for. So, when the boss is walking in and they got their backpack and they're trying to get to the office, I don't want to hit them with a problem. I kind of let them sit, get their coffee, get some water, get some tea, and then you come in and kind of get them with an icebreaker and kind of joke and kind of get that smile, especially if you're about to ask them something and it involves money, or you're trying to ask them something that's going to involve them to make a critical decision. You kind of really want them to kind of butter them up. So, and I joke with, and that's not just with my supervisors that I work for. I do that with my employees too. So I go to their cubicles, I crack jokes, and I kind of let them know, hey, I might be old, but I'm still in the game. And but it's kind of the connection piece to let them know that you kind of know what they're going through, and that you can kind of relate to some of the things that they see and do. So
absolutely, I love that. Amen to that, brother. Wow, such an incredible positive episode, and important for not only our families, but for the police officers that are out there serving and doing the hard work every single day. I salute you and thank you for your story, your courage, your vulnerability.
But could I say one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I just want to say, I know we focus a lot on the police officers, but we do have professional staff, dispatchers, and civilians that make the police department turn. That wheel cannot turn alone with just the sworn staff.
That's right.
So they're equally important, and they're a part of what we do. They're the eyes and ears, the dispatchers.
And their mental health.
Right. If officer gets hurt or get injured, they're concerned. What could I have done better? Or did I relay the message fast enough, or whatever? So they feel it just like us. So we're all one family. I know everybody doesn't wear the uniform, everybody doesn't have a badge, but we're all part of one family. And I would be remiss if I didn't emphasize of the importance of the professional staff of the police department, because they go through a lot too. Absolutely. And just like we have times when we need help, they need it too. And the wellness as relates to what Dr. Moore and her team does is available to them as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes. So it's not just a blue uniform show.
Yeah.
It's everybody's involved in the process. And that's from the top down.
I love to hear
Yep.
that. Fantastic. Again, shout out to Dr. Carla Moore and all the great work that she is doing for first responders in our city of Atlanta. My city, ATL. That makes me proud. This has been such an incredible episode. And we're about to do part 2. Coming up, we have one of my dear friends, Keisha Johnson, who actually Major Watson knew her late husband, Daryl Johnson. And we might even see if he might stay over for a little bit so we can start that interview. But it's been an absolute pleasure, again, and honor. And I just want to thank you for your work and how you serve our community and the families within our community. And just the community at large is so grateful for people like yourself out here doing the hard work. And we want to continue to support and uplift you all. And shout out again to Dr. Carla Moore, who's doing a fantastic job around health and wellness and behavioral health for the city of Atlanta and our first responders. So again, y'all, make sure you check out this episode, like it, share it, forward it on to friends and family, subscribe, rate on YouTube. And we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit. And so if we don't get the donations, we can't continue to do this critical work in the city. So if you feel so inclined, you can go to our website, www.silencetheshame.com, and click the donate button and just share $5, donate $10, whatever it is, $1. We're grateful for it all. So thank you. Make sure y'all stay safe. And as I always say, take time, save a life, and silence the shame.
3, 2, 1.
I think it's time that we start the conversation and silence the shame.
Silence the shame.
Silence the shame. Silence is the difference between treatment or pain, life or death.
Silence the shame.
Speak up now and silence.
Silence.
Silence the shame.